All right, time to focus on what's on a lot of our minds, and that is Hurricane Irma. Still just under 2,000 miles away from the U.S. mainland in southwest Florida. Hurricane hunters were back in this morning, circling through the storm, making several passes through the core or the eye, collecting data. This data gets ingested to our forecast models that we use to predict the overall intensity and the eventual path of the storm. So as we continue to get some of this new data and feed it into some of the forecast models, the thinking is we'll get some much more reliable forecasts as we head through the next couple of days. We no longer have to just wait and rely on satellite observations to get information on the storm. We can actually fly in and get that real-time data. Our tracker here, our tropical tracker with Hurricane Irma, as of 5 o'clock this morning, winds at 115. We'll likely see that number increase as it appears the storm has undergone some strengthening through the overnight. Likely on its way to becoming a Category 4 storm. As we head through the next 5 days, the forecast cone very concerning for the northern Leeward Islands. We could see possible direct impacts there. Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Cuba. The overall trend has been for this forecast cone to shift farther south. Not necessarily what we want to see here in southwest Florida, and really there's still several scenarios on the table. Unfortunately, it's too early still to get into the specifics on what's going to happen 5 days out. We do expect this storm to turn. The question is, at what degree and when does that turn take place? Does it happen a little bit later, in which case it would come over closer to the Gulf of Mexico and here in southwest Florida? If it happens earlier, it moves up to the Bahamas, perhaps scraping along the Florida East Coast, even up to the Carolinas, the Northeast. All of those possibilities are still on the table, so it's important for you to stay updated and make sure you're prepared now. You should, of course, during hurricane season, always be prepared with a hurricane plan, a hurricane kit, so you want to make sure all that is updated so you don't have to wait in long lines later this week if we do see any kind of impacts from Irma. If we did, it would be late in the week into the weekend, around Sunday or so. These are the new spaghetti plots and forecast models. You can see one particular model looks a little silly there, that pink line having it loop. But the overall trend has been for more of a projection over towards South Florida. But still, these can change as they often do. So make sure to monitor this Irma as we watch it move west over the next several days.